Behind America's most beloved television dad lay a family torn by tragedy, addiction, and devastating loss. From a son murdered during a tire change to daughters defending an accused father while battling their own demons, the Cosby children's real lives became far darker than any sitcom script. Here's what really happened to Bill Cosby's children. Erica Cosby. Erica Cosby, born on April 8, 1965, became the most academically accomplished of Bill Cosby's children, carving out her own distinguished career as a painter and professor while navigating the complex dynamics of being part of America's most famous television family. As the eldest of 5 children, all given names beginning with the letter E for excellence, Erica was often seen as the responsible one who would set the example for her younger siblings. Growing up in the spotlight had its unique challenges and privileges for Erica, who appeared on the cover of Ebony magazine with her parents when she was just 16 months old. Despite her father's fame, the Cosby family tried to maintain normalcy, and Bill Cosby was particularly focused on teaching his children about money and hard work. When Erica was 12 years old, her father brought her to his concerts to show her the business side of entertainment, explaining box office receipts and how he calculated his earnings, determined that none of his children would take their privileged lifestyle for granted. Erica's passion for art emerged early, and she pursued it seriously through her education at some of the country's most prestigious institutions. After graduating from Northfield Mount Hermon Preparatory School, she earned her Bachelor of Arts degree from Wesleyan University in 1987, followed by a Bachelor of Fine Arts from the School of Visual Arts in New York City in 1989. She then completed her Master of Fine Arts at the University of California, Berkeley in 1991 and attended the renowned Skowhegan School of Painting and Sculpture in Maine for additional training. However, it was during her graduate studies that Erica encountered a moment that would profoundly shape her understanding of racism in academia and her own family's significance in the art world. A professor selected what he considered the definitive book documenting the most important artists in America and asked students to choose several artists to write about. The book included only one woman, photographer Cindy Sherman, and not a single African-American artist. When Erica and other students of color pointed this out, the professor actually challenged them to name any significant black artists. What the professor didn't know was that Erica's parents, Bill and Camille Cosby, had quietly assembled one of the largest and most important collections of African-American art in the country. Erica began naming artists like William H., many of whom were represented in her family's extensive collection. Despite this, the professor remained defiant, refusing to acknowledge the significance of these artists. This experience became a defining moment for Erica, who later reflected on how it opened her eyes to the institutional racism that exists even in supposedly progressive academic spaces. The incident also highlighted the disconnect between public recognition and artistic merit, as her family possessed works by masters who were being dismissed by someone in a position of academic authority. Erica went on to establish herself as a serious artist in her own right, receiving a New York Foundation for the Arts Fellowship in Painting and serving as an artist in residence at the Abrons Arts Center from 2009 to 2010. She taught as an adjunct art professor at New York University from 2012 to 2013, alongside respected faculty members. Her work, which often examines racial stereotypes and media representation, has been featured in galleries including Saltworks Contemporary Art, the Arlington Arts Center, and the Smithsonian's National Museum of African Art, where her piece Hanging Out to Dry was displayed during the museum's 50th anniversary exhibition in 2014. Aaron Cosby. Aaron Cosby, born on July 23, 1966, experienced the most tumultuous relationship with her famous father among all the Cosby children, facing public humiliation and family estrangement during her struggles with drug addiction, while simultaneously dealing with a traumatic sexual assault allegation that her father reportedly discouraged her from pursuing through legal channels. The troubles began in earnest when Aaron was in her early 20s and developed what she later described as a cocaine habit. Her relationship with her father became increasingly strained as her addiction took hold, leading to behavior that Bill Cosby found unacceptable. The situation reached a breaking point when Aaron dropped out of Spelman College, violating one of the family's cardinal rules about education and personal responsibility. In 1989, when Aaron was 23 years old, her personal crisis became even more complicated when she encountered boxing champion Mike Tyson at a New York City nightclub. According to Aaron's later testimony, she was out with a female friend when they ran into a male friend who was with Tyson. The group decided to leave the club together, and Aaron found herself in Tyson's car, sitting in the front seat with her male friend. During the ride, Tyson asked her what her father thought of him, and Aaron told him that Bill Cosby supported his fights. When it became clear they were heading to New Jersey rather than staying in New York, Aaron asked where they were going and was told they were going to a party at Tyson's house. Once there, Aaron said Tyson gave her a tour of his estate, but when they reached the trophy room, he locked the door behind them. According to her account, Tyson then attacked her, pinning her to the floor and groping her until a member of his household staff heard her screams and knocked on the door, giving her the opportunity to escape. When Aaron told her father about the alleged assault, his response was not what she had hoped for. Rather than encouraging her to go to the police, Bill Cosby's attorneys contacted Tyson's representatives and insisted that the boxer attend psychiatric counseling. Aaron later revealed that her father also insisted she enter drug treatment, though she claimed she had already decided to seek help for her addiction problems on her own. The public humiliation came when Bill Cosby gave a devastating interview to the Los Angeles Times, describing his daughter in terms that shocked many people. He called Aaron very selfish and said, "I think she's a child who has refused to take responsibility for supporting herself." He went further, stating, "She's never held down a job, never kept an apartment for more than 6 months. She never finishes anything. She uses her boyfriends. Her problem is behavioral. She's very stubborn. She's not a person you can trust." Most painfully, he told the newspaper, "Right now we're estranged. She can't come here." Aaron didn't go public with her allegations against Tyson until 1992, 3 years after the incident, when she appeared on the Donahue television show. Even then, she said she didn't believe Tyson had ever followed through on the agreement to attend counseling. When host Phil Donahue asked why she had never challenged her father's handling of the situation, Aaron replied, "Well, because at that time, with my own emotions and everything, I really felt that he would handle it." Eventually, Aaron and her father reconciled, particularly after the tragic murder of her brother Ennis in 1997. She appeared on her father's show Bill Cosby, far from finished, in 2013, and currently lives in Philadelphia, where she operates her own art studio, showcasing her photography work in galleries in New York City and Miami. Ennis Cosby. Ennis Cosby, born on April 15, 1969, was the beloved only son of Bill and Camille Cosby, who overcame his own learning disabilities to pursue a doctorate in special education, determined to help other children who struggled like he had. But his promising life was cut tragically short when he was murdered at age 27 during a failed robbery attempt while changing a tire on a Los Angeles freeway. Ennis was born during the height of his father's early television success and became the inspiration for Theo Huxtable, the son character on The Cosby Show. Like the fictional Theo, Ennis struggled with learning difficulties that weren't initially understood by his high-achieving parents. He had undiagnosed dyslexia, which made his early school years challenging and sometimes strained his relationship with his accomplished father and mother, who couldn't understand why their bright son was having academic difficulties. The breakthrough came when Ennis was properly diagnosed with dyslexia and began receiving appropriate educational support. This experience transformed his life and gave him a deep passion for helping other children who faced similar learning challenges. He attended Morehouse College, where he thrived academically once he had the right tools and support systems in place. His success there led him to pursue graduate studies at Columbia University's Teachers College, where he was working toward his doctorate in special education at the time of his death. Ennis was known for his warm personality and his signature greeting of "Hello, friend," which became so associated with him that his father later used it as the title of a jazz album dedicated to his memory. Those who knew him described him as outgoing, kind, and deeply committed to his studies and future career helping children with learning disabilities. On January 16, 1997, Ennis was in Los Angeles during his winter break from Columbia University, visiting friends and taking some time away from his intensive doctoral studies. In the early morning hours around 1 o'clock, he was driving north on Interstate 405 through the Sepulveda Pass when he experienced a flat tire on his dark green Mercedes-Benz convertible. He pulled off the freeway onto Skirball Center Drive to change the tire and called his girlfriend, Stephanie Crane, asking her to come help him. Crane arrived and parked her car behind his to shine her headlights on his vehicle so he could see better while changing the tire. As Ennis worked on the tire, 18-year-old Mikhail Markasev, a Ukrainian immigrant, and two friends were at a nearby park and ride lot. Markasev, who was reportedly under the influence of drugs, approached the scene with the intention of robbing Ennis and Stephanie. Markasev first approached Stephanie's car window with a gun, terrifying her into driving away from the scene. When she returned about a minute later to check on Ennis, she discovered that he had been shot in the head and killed. Despite having valuable items with him, including a Rolex watch and $60 in cash, nothing appeared to have been taken from Ennis, suggesting the crime was a botched robbery rather than a successful theft. The murder shocked the nation and prompted an outpouring of sympathy for the Cosby family. The case received massive media attention, with over 800 tips called in to police. Markasev was arrested in March 1997 after a former friend contacted the National Enquirer, claiming that Markasev had been bragging about shooting a racial slur. He was convicted of first-degree murder in July 1998 and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 2001, Markasev confessed to the crime and stopped his appeals process, finally admitting his guilt and apologizing to the Cosby family. Evan Cosby. Evan Cosby, born on August 27, 1976, became the most loyal public defender of her father during his sexual assault scandal, building a successful fashion business while writing passionate open letters proclaiming his innocence, and standing by him as over 50 women accused him of rape and sexual misconduct throughout one of the biggest celebrity scandals in American history. As the youngest of the 5 Cosby children, Evan grew up during the height of The Cosby Show's popularity and was deeply influenced by the fashion world from an early age. Her love for style began when she was just 6 years old, trying to emulate Madonna's look, and continued to develop as she accompanied her father on tour, spending time in the dressing rooms of legendary performers like Diana Ross and Tina Turner. She even helped stylists select her father's outfits for The Cosby Show, giving her behind-the-scenes exposure to the entertainment industry's fashion elements. Evan initially attended Spelman College in Atlanta for 2 years, but found that none of their majors interested her, so she transferred to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City, where she discovered her true calling. After graduating from FIT, she launched her own boutique called PB and Caviar in August 2008 in New York City's Tribeca neighborhood. The store was designed as a one-stop destination for stylish mothers, offering elegant apparel and organic beauty products for women as well as trendy clothing for their children. However, Evan's life took a dramatic turn when her father became embroiled in sexual assault allegations starting in 2004. As the accusations mounted and her father faced criminal charges, Evan emerged as his most vocal family defender, refusing to stay silent while his reputation was destroyed in the media. In April 2017, just before her father's trial was set to begin, Evan wrote a powerful open letter that was published by Black Press USA and shared on her Facebook page. In the letter, Evan directly addressed the allegations against her father, writing, "The public persecution of my dad, my kid's grandfather, and the cruelty of the media and those who speak out branding my father a rapist without ever knowing the truth, and who shame our family and our friends for defending my dad, makes all of this so much worse for my family and my children." She continued, "When people are so quick to cast hate, and make accusations of horrific violence against my dad, they are callous in their carelessness about the harm they are causing to others. Evan specifically defended her father's character, stating, "I know that my father loves me, loves my sisters and my mother. He loves and respects women. He is not abusive, violent, or a rapist." She acknowledged that her father had affairs during his marriage, but insisted that that was between him and my mother, and that they had worked through those issues together. She also emphasized that the accusations dated back 40 or 50 years before she was born, and argued that her father deserved to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Throughout the trials and media coverage, Evan maintained her support for her father while continuing to run her fashion business and raise her own children with her husband, attorney John Atchison. She expanded her advocacy beyond just defending her father, posting on social media about the broader issue of false accusations, and arguing that people who falsely accuse others of rape should also face prosecution. Even after her father's conviction in 2018 and subsequent release in 2021 when his conviction was overturned, Evan has continued to maintain his innocence and live a relatively private life away from the spotlight. Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby, born in 1973, became her father's most passionate and outspoken defender during his sexual assault trials, boldly claiming that racism was a driving force behind the accusations against him. But her fierce loyalty was cut short when she died tragically at age 44 from kidney disease, while reportedly just weeks away from receiving a life-saving kidney transplant that could have extended her life. Unlike some of her siblings who pursued high-profile careers, Bill largely stayed out of the public eye for most of her life, choosing to live away from the spotlight that surrounded her famous family. She appeared in just one episode of The Cosby Show in 1989, playing a girl at a party, but otherwise maintained a private existence focused on her own family and personal life. She was a mother herself, with a young daughter who would later be mentioned in her public statements defending her father. When the sexual assault allegations against Bill Cosby began mounting in the early 2000s and reached a crescendo with his criminal trial, Bill emerged as one of his most vocal supporters within the family. In May 2017, just before her father's first trial was set to begin, Bill and her sister Erin released audio statements to Sirius XM Radio's The Breakfast Club show, providing a rare glimpse into how the family was processing the crisis. Bill's statement was particularly powerful and controversial, as she directly addressed what she saw as racial motivations behind the treatment of her father. She said, "The man portrayed in the media today is not who my father is. The accusations against my father have been one-sided since the beginning." She went further, declaring, "I strongly believe my father is innocent of the crimes alleged against him, and I believe that racism has played a big role in all aspects of this scandal." Her most striking comments came when she described the impact on the family, saying, "My father has been publicly lynched in the media, and my family, my young daughter, my young niece and nephew have had to stand helplessly by and watch the double standard of pretending to protect the rights of some, but ignoring the rights of others and exposing innocent children to such appalling accusations about someone that they love dearly and who has been so loving and kind to them is beyond cruel." While Bill was fighting publicly for her father's reputation, she was also waging a private battle against kidney disease that had been affecting her health for several years. According to her husband, Martin McLean, she had been struggling with kidney issues and undergoing dialysis treatment, which is an exhausting process that filters waste from the blood when the kidneys can no longer perform this function effectively. Kidney disease is particularly common in the African American community and often progresses silently without obvious symptoms until it reaches advanced stages. The tragic irony of Bill's death was that she was reportedly just weeks away from receiving a kidney transplant when she passed away on February 23, 2018 in Massachusetts. Her husband revealed that she had been very brave throughout her illness and had been on the transplant waiting list, but the life-saving organ donation came too late to help her. The timing was particularly heartbreaking given that kidney transplants have high success rates and could have given Bill many more years of life. Enza's death came at an especially difficult time for the Cosby family, occurring just 1 week before Bill Cosby was scheduled to return to court for a pre-trial hearing in his sexual assault retrial. The family released a statement through spokesperson Andrew Wyatt saying, "The Cosby family thanks many people for their prayers for their beloved and beautiful Enza, who recently died from renal disease.